All right, guess what day it is? Greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I'm your host once again, Dan Thornton. I wanted to thank you all, each and every one of you, for making a little time out of your day to join us here on Lions Talk Live. Here it is, the rematch with the Chicago Bears. I know we're all waiting to see what the Lions can do. Hey, let's be very frank and upfront about this. A win here, along with maybe some other results today, really would help the Lions' playoff chances, not just as far as getting in the playoffs. I think at this point, we can all say they're going to get in. It's just, hey, can we secure the division? Can we get a different seed? Can we set up just a better opponent for us to play and at Ford Field to start the playoffs? Before we get into all that, though, as you guys know, there's a couple things I've got to get through. So just real quick here. If you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live and you're enjoying the show, plus the community and all that, please consider subscribing. We need, I think it's 50 more subs to hit 4,800. And we're really trying to make a push before the playoffs to get to 5,000. Yes, it's only 250 subs away. So if you can do your part, that really would be kind of you. Also, don't be afraid to hit that thumbs up, like button, all that. If you're looking to buy or sell property in the state of Michigan, give me a call, shoot me a text, send a carrier pigeon my way. Whatever you need to do, just go ahead and out and do it. Let me work on your behalf. Use over 30 years of service in the industry to help save you some money, either purchasing a home or selling a property anywhere in the state of Michigan, Upper Peninsula or Lower Peninsula. If you live outside of Michigan, you can still contact me. Let me see if I can help you out with that sale or purchase. And again, try to save you some money. All right, now that we got all that kind of stuff out of the way, let's get to the comments section and see what everybody is saying. And Frank, yes, you are first. Congratulations. You get the gold star of the day. Booth, good morning, Duke crew. Good morning, you too. Booth, hi, Frank. Yep, hi, everybody. So, Kurt, greetings and salutations, everyone. Let's do this today. This would be a huge step towards wrapping up the division. It would definitely put us into a much more comfortable situation. Doesn't mean it would secure it for us, but definitely would help our chances exponentially. Frank, hi. Hope the Bears remember they are tanking for the draft position. Yes. And it does look like more and more they're going to have probably the number one pick and probably somewhere around number 5 or 6, somewhere in that range. But, if they just want to lose out the rest of the Bear games, that would probably help their chances of getting maybe number 3 or number 4. So I'm rooting for them to lose today. Boo, what do you got? All sorts of conspiracy theories abound. What is your favorite for this game? Man, I'm only worried about one thing, and that's just the Lions winning. As far as conspiracies, who knows, man? I mean, there's always it seems like there's always conspiracy. The fix is in, or this is set up, or that set up. I would just say, it would be dang tough to keep it masked because people are going to find out, especially people that are playing on the field of play and the coaches, and it's eventually somebody talks. So that would be the tough part I have with conspiracies. But Boo, if you got one in particular you're thinking of, let me know because I'd be interested to see what you're thinking. Burrs, good morning, Mr. Do himself, Dan the man and Lions Faithful. Same to you, buddy. Hopefully you're having a do one. Ed, what do you got? Morning, coach. Can't wait for the game to start. What do you think Ben and AG will do differently this game? Whew, that's a great question. Will they do anything differently? As I'm sure all you guys know, Bruce Irvin and Bahama didn't come or didn't get pulled up and signed, I should say. So that leads me to believe that Broderick Martin and Isaiah Buggs are both going to be active today. Maybe not, maybe only one of them, but I would say they're probably leaning that way. The Buggs obviously is going to help exponentially, but so would Martin. Martin does have some real athleticism. I get, some of his technique needs to be cleaned up, but he's been here to the point where he's no longer really a true rookie. You're getting towards the end of the year. You've been put through a bunch of reps. Here's his opportunity to show us really, what is he? What can he be? I did like the limited amount of work we've seen with him. I thought there was promise. He always started off shaky, but got better as the games went on. So we'll see what they got, but there had to be a reason. And I've got a thought on why they didn't bring Isaiah Buggs up, but we'll get into that later. All right, Quentin, what do you got? Morning, y'all. Chicago sounds like they're missing some wides today. Hope that helps our defense out some. I would say, I know they've got a couple of their depth pieces out. DJ Moore is not among them. That would be a huge blow for them. But hey, whoever's out there is going to be expected to make plays. There's a reason why you're on an NFL roster. So just because player A or B isn't there doesn't mean player C or D can't perform. So we'll see what shakes out, but you're going to have to stop the run and Justin Fields before the wideouts probably impact the game greatly. So let's see how big an impact that is, though. Frank, Bo, this is why Bugs hasn't been playing, saving up energy for today. Could be. He might be the cavalry running in to save the day at the end of the season. Let's hope you guys are right. And we're all going to be watching for that active, inactive report later today, and that's going to be the big tell. Is he in? Is Martin in? Or are they out? So let's wait and see. All right. Weather not a factor. 35 and cloudy. Go get the dub, boys, and one step closer to the division title. Bergs, I fully agree. Yeah. 35, well, I get it's not 70. It's definitely not horrible either, especially if you live in Detroit. I mean, come on. This time of year, that shouldn't be scary stuff. I don't know how much the wind is going to play a factor. I don't know. I know there were reports it was going to be a little bit higher, lower. That seemed to change exponentially throughout the week. So if somebody's got information on that, go ahead and throw it in the comment section. And Bahama not playing. Yeah, I was a little surprised that both him and Irvin weren't brought up, especially Irvin, to be fair. But I think a lot of that has to do with wanting to or trying to avoid at this point having to fully sign them to the 53-man roster the rest of the year. I know Bahama's at the point where if they bring him up one more time, yeah, he's got to be a permanent part of the 53-man roster. Either that or they have to cut him, I guess. And that's why I do think Isaiah Bugs and Broderick Martin will more than likely be active today just because they didn't bring him up. Irvin, that's a different story. He's only been brought up once, so he does have a few more opportunities for them to bring him from the practice squad before they would have to sign him to the 53-man roster. Unless I'm missing something or just not thinking of something this morning, so apologies if I am. JDC, good morning all. Good morning to you too. Frank, Ed out. All right, Ed out. Let's see. Mr. Ed, does 10 and 7 lock up the wild card spot? I think I would say we're probably already locked in fairly close, at least, to the wild card. So 10 and 7, yeah, I think we'd definitely be in the playoffs. But I also think if we lose out here, there's still an opportunity we'd make it. It just would be real dicey. All right, JDC, I'll bet over $1 billion, $300 million, trillion, $300 million that the Lions beat the Bears today. JDC, I mean, I'm going to need you to show some confidence here. I'm going to need you to step that up. Come on, let's put up some real numbers here. I need you to start talking in Mountain Dew terms. That way I know you're sincere with your bet. But yeah, it sounds like you're pretty into this game. So that you really believe we got a chance here today. Boo, Bruce Irvin kept out because of field conditions. Okay. I didn't know that part. So good information there. Yeah, I'm a little surprised, but hey, if they're going to keep him out, I'm wondering, man, how bad is the turf? But is what it is. All right, Southwest, I watched some tape of how Lions, Vikings D's played versus Bears Fields. Lions bit harder on fakes, over pursued Vikings loaded box, over pursued Vikings loaded box, blitzed more and stayed in their lanes. Lions need to do the same this time. Yeah, I would say if Aaron Glenn's really continues to mature and maturate as a defensive coordinator, he's going to be paying attention to a lot of things that other teams did that are successful against the Bears or really any team in the future. So to your point, I'm assuming he's watched some tape. I'm assuming he's developed some ideas, and that we'll start adding those to it. All right, Frank, Bruce, Batman, Irvin, also not playing. Yeah, I was a little surprised by that, to say the least. But, at this point, hey, you got to believe that the coaches know who the best people are. They can only bring so many guys to the game. So there had to be a reason why they mixed and matched a little bit. We'll see. All will be revealed at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today. All right, Bit Lady, good morning, Coach. Irvin not playing, so it sounds like it is related to his ankle injury and not another, since the MCDC said he deserved more reps. Yeah, I mean, I didn't think the ankle injury was that big a deal, but obviously it must have been a contributing factor. And like Bo said earlier, that with the playing field conditions and an ankle, Yeah, that's probably why. But I want to see who's going to be on the fully active roster for today. All right, Southwest Lion, what do you got? That's right, Bit Lady, saving him for the stretch run last 4 games. Yeah, and that's also probably a factor. If the ankle isn't 100% and the field conditions, aren't ideal, then yeah, they probably would just want to be uber cautious, give him one game off because obviously the stretch run here. I mean, if the Packers lose one more game, I think they're in a real hard spot catching us. If they win out, then man, they still could catch us. But the Packers are going to play the Vikings. The Vikings, we play twice. So there are some things that if you're playing chess here, which at this point I'm guessing all the coaches are, they're trying to figure out what are their best opportunities to get wins and hey, what do we need to do here and there to help out? So I get it. All right, Ed, what do you got? The Lions must have the best IR team in the NFL. They probably have one of the deepest ones, but hey, you look at the injury report for today, and we're going to miss some guys, obviously, but our team is, for this time of year, fairly healthy. You look across the league, and there are a lot of teams with much longer IR groups than us. So to your point, Ed, yeah, give some credit to the medical staff. All right, Boo, preserve Irvin. Yeah, good choice. Yeah. If he's not 100% right, you don't want him to aggravate that thing and make it worse going down the stretch. So do what you. I mean, it stinks not having him out there. I get it, but an ounce of caution to get a much larger reward. All right, Frank, what do you got? Bit Lady, I think they are struggling without to cut. Who would you cut? Man, who would we cut in order to bring somebody else up? I don't know. I don't know exactly who I'd get rid of at this point. But it also depends on what you need too. But they did, obviously sign the new corner to come on up. We'll see if he gets on the field today at all. Southwest line, exactly. Yeah, is what I was advocating. Rush 5 with looks, hold the line and gaps with patience. Read, then make the play. Yeah, and if we go back to what AG has done traditionally throughout the season, he's rushed guys, but he's not asking them. As we've talked about 1,000 times here, he's not asking him to try to get wins. He's asking him to collapse the pocket. So to your guys' standpoint, if you bring 5, that means everybody's got one-on-one. You have the potential to have somebody dip and get past their guy and put pressure. I think the one thing Aaron Glenn seems to not want to do, though, is he seems uber concerned with somebody getting past the offensive line, getting at Fields, and then Fields having an escape route. So I'm hoping they mix it up today. I'm hoping they're more aggressive. I hope they do blitz more. You guys all know I'm a fan of pressure, especially on the defensive side of things. And I also think it helps the secondary out, which our secondary is good. It's just not great. And they're definitely not great at man-to-man coverage. It makes their job, if you can get a quicker pressure, it makes their job of covering a whole lot easier. All right, Dave, we got greetings and salutations. Martin in today. I think there's a strong possibility he'll be in. But again, we won't know for sure for, basically another 3 hours or so. But I think him and Bugs both have an opportunity to be out there today. All right, answer 14. Greetings and salutations, Lions. Let's go. Good morning to you too. Hope you're having a great one. Eddie, Big Eddie. Greetings and salutations. Let's see this offense stand tall and own the clock this game. That would be a big factor. If they can control the time possession anywhere near what the Bears did to us the first time we played them, that would help the defense out a ton. It also means you're probably putting more points on the board and not just settling for field goals. Boo, be a good game to watch with Martin. See what Martin can do. Yeah, I agree. If he's out there, this is his time. The stretch of the year, you've had a bunch of the season to try to develop. The coaching staff obviously is, invest a lot of time in this guy, helping him grow. So hopefully we can get him out there and get him going today. All right, George Coach, why no Irvin today? I think it's a multitude of factors. I think 1, they're trying to save him for the final few games. 2, his ankle's a little flared up, so why risk aggravating it? So just things to pay attention to. All right, Frank, what do you got to Anthony Pittman for me? All right, we'll go with that. Donnie Berg, good morning to you. Detroit 28, Chicago 17. Stop worrying. Good teams find a way to win. Yes, they do. And, hey, at some point, too, the Bears know they're out of this thing at this point. And I do get, and we've talked about it before, Guys are playing for contracts. Guys are playing for film. Guys are playing for opportunities, whether the Bears next year or different teams next year. So, yeah, I get that. Yeah, they'll have reasons to play, but maybe if you can get on them early and before halftime, maybe you give some of those guys, take a little wind out of their sails. All right, Nine Drinks. Oh, what the heck? Irvin out? Yes, he is. He will not be here today. All right, Southwest. This has everything to do with scheme coaching. Lions D must maintain gap discipline, stay in their lanes, load up the box, blitz more, and make Fields get rid of the ball faster. All that I would agree with 1,000%. All right, Lance. Yeah, they didn't bring him. Yep, they didn't. Bruce, what do you got? Morning, all. Good morning to you too. Bugs and Martin today. Yes, I'm thinking they'll both be in. Onzarike, that's a good question. Man, have we really heard his name at all in a month or so? Maybe longer. I don't know. We'll see. But if he's got anything in his tank, man, obviously today's the day to unleash it. Yeah, Frank. Yeah, fingers crossed. Okay. Southwest, they should be rotating the big body players on their line to keep them fresh and let Hutch do what he did last year, play him off the line of scrimmage standing position with freedom to move around. Yeah, I mean, we've been talking about this, it seems like, for a week or two. Hutchinson, yeah, he's become a statue on one side of the field, and that's about it. So, I mean, I would like to see more creativity on defense, but also for the reason of just moving some of the parts around, but also just making it harder on the opposing quarterback and pre-snap reads. All right, Bit Lady at Frank, what do you got? I have to see what they are actives and inactives this week. I'm not seeing it yet. We've got a couple hours before that still. I believe we don't need to cut, just assign somebody inactive. Only Irvin and Hutch create pressure now. This is also true. So, yeah, the inactive list will come out probably around 11 o'clock. So, I guess 4 hours, just under 4 hours away. All right, Nine Drinks. If Martin can stay low, he will be a beast. Yeah, he will. And he's just, again, a rookie. I get they see all the promise in him. Now they got to see some of that pay off with product on the field. Like Duke Crew, absolutely. Who doesn't like the Duke Crew? All right, Ronald, what do you got? Good morning. Go Lions. Good morning to you too. Frank, what do you got? The Bit Lady, cornerback Kendall Vildor took the last available roster spot. Yeah, and it sounds like if you go back and read some of the comments from the coaching staff, obviously they know this guy because he's played in the division for a while before he went elsewhere. It'll be interesting to see what they do with him, especially down the stretch run here, because MCDC, I think he's somebody who talks from his heart. He says what he thinks, and he thinks what he says. So it sounds like he was really impressed with the kid. And, it's nothing against Jerry Jacobs or anybody else in that secondary. They are what they are. It doesn't mean they're bad or anything. It just means maybe they're not as ideal for some situations as perhaps other players. So to your point, Frank, this could be an opportunity for Vildor to get out there. Southwest Dan, how many of the players on last year's roster are playing better than last year? How many airplane worse? And how many would take that breakdown offense versus defense? As far as last year's results, I mean, they were really trending up. If you look at whatever it was, the last 8 games last year, the defense played much better, but they also did have some different personnel in the secondary. They could play a little bit more man-to-man. The other part is, I hate saying it, but James Houston's impact. The fact that you had 2 guys that could really consistently and quickly get to the quarterback changes how long people have to cover. So I'll probably say this in the offseason and throughout the rest of the regular season. James Houston's loss was incredibly debilitating to this defense from what Aaron Glenn wanted to do. There's other factors in play. Like I said, some of the personnel changes out there have really augmented what Aaron Glenn could do. So I would say this as well. Tracy Walker wasn't supposed to be the starter. Oh gosh, I just drew a blank on his name. The other cornerback, not Cam Sutton, Jerry Jacobs. He wasn't supposed to be a starter. So you start going down the list of guys that are supposed to be out there for you, and you start getting 2, 3, 4 players off the board. I get we all want some schematic things. I want them to be more aggressive. I also get, one thing I will say for Aaron Glenn is, he's been dealt some bad hands with some of the injuries, and they are having a cumulative effect. They didn't have great pass rush coming into the season, but that did take a major blow when Houston went out, and now you got Irvin out, you got Lee McNeil out. I mean, it does start mattering. All right, Iceberg, what do you got? Bears down, Dan, the do man. Thank you. All right, so you're calling your team's gonna lose there. I like it. I like the way you're talking here today. Give me a number. I'm sending you a do. We're getting you on the do crew officially. Boo, what do you got? Southwest line, yeah. Hutch, stand up. Yeah, they need to move him around and be more creative with him. All right, Don, what do you got? We winning? The conversation will be how everyone knew we was going to win. Happens every time. Yeah, people change their opinions in a New York minute, don't they? Michael, what do you got? Hello, sir. The Lions offense needs to carry the team. If the Lions have a defense, I believe they would be Super Bowl bound this year. The only thing I would say is it is possible, like we've been talking about for a couple weeks now, Houston's going to be back. I think, I've given you guys my information or whatever. It looks like within the next week or two. So he gets back. Gardner Johnson, I think, is back in about 2.5 weeks. Maybe Kendall Vildor can help out with being able to play a little bit different schemes in the secondary a little bit. Because now you start adding a few more parts, you start being able to do things differently on D. I'm not saying Aaron Glenn is the greatest defensive coordinator in the world. He's not. He's not even close. I'm not saying that at all. I am trying to say, though, he is improving, and you start giving him some more weapons, he's going to look better. Like most coaches are. You look pretty bad when you don't have anything. When you got the fifth grade team out there playing against the college team, that college team coach is probably going to look pretty good because everything works. And I'm not saying that will happen, but I'm going to say I'm very hopeful going down the stretch here. We get healthier and Aaron Glenn gets a little bit more creative with what he does. All right. What do you got? Due morning to you all. The Lions need new D-line scouting team. They have not done a good job. No results thus far. Yeah, and I agree. And we've talked about it. The only thing that Holmes is really busted on, in my opinion, as far as the draft, is the defensive line. We just, to your point, Hutchinson's been good, but that dude has been, they didn't drive the tank to empty. They drove it beyond empty on that kid, and I feel bad for him. Houston, why you're having – it's easy, I guess, in hindsight to say, hey, that was probably not a great move putting him on special teams because he got hurt. But I get you also, it's part of being on the roster. You got to be out there. You got to put dudes out there and, somebody's going to have the opportunity to get hurt. But other than those two, Broderick Martin is an unknown quantity at this point. Lee McNeil's been fair. I think we can all say he hasn't been a Pro Bowler, but he hasn't been bad by any stretch of the imagination. Levi Onwuzurike, hey, the back is what it is. You took a roll of the dice on the kid, and the back crapped out on you. Josh Pascal, it just doesn't seem like he can stay healthy, does it? So we'll have to see. But overall, it's been mixed reviews, not nearly as outstanding as the other spots on the team that they've drafted. All right, Dr. Troy, just win. I don't care about bragging right, just win. I agree. At this point in the year, I could care less if you win by 1 or 3 billion points. I don't care if there's 50 touchdown passes from Goff or 20 runs by Goff for touchdowns. Just find a way to win. Get Jack Fox out there and run wide receiver if you need to, if that's going to help. All right, one Funky Lions fan. Good morning, all. Good morning to you too. Detroit, morning. Yep, good morning. One Funky, I've said we would lose this game all year. I hope I've been wrong. You know what? We're all going to know in about 8 hours. And we're either all going to be blaming you personally or praising you, because now if you say we're going to lose and we win, you need to predict losses in every game for us, because that will be the trend. No pressure on you, man. No pressure. All right. The Fishing Church, dude. All right. What do you got? I'm bummed that Bruce Irvin is not playing along with the big defensive tackle. Why are we not going to see them today? Bahama, I can say it's probably because if they sign him from the practice squad at this point, they've got to put him on the 53-man roster the rest of you're out of promotions, I guess you could say, from him. So I think they're being a little cautious with the fact that in case they don't see great results out of some of the other players they're going to have up there today, they're leaving them a little bit of wiggle room. Irvin, I think it's a multitude of things. probably is a little bit with the conditions, the weather, the ankle, and trying to preserve him for the home stretch. You know, he's the only one who could say what that ankle is like, if it's really good or bad. But unfortunately, he's not going to be here, so it doesn't matter. You're just going to have to move on today. All right, Don, what do you got? Detroit 28, Chicago 17. I'll take it. Don One Funky, you're definitely wrong. All right, I like it. I like the confidence in that. All right, the Southwest, I think Goff needs that extra layer of protection, more two back sets, play action, throw out of the run formations, and run out of throw formations. Keep Bears guessing. Yeah, I am a big fan of not just going run on every first down. Throw some more play actions in there. Keep the defense off balance. Don, y'all give Chicago too much credit. Sounds more scared of Bears than 49ers. Damn, what are you going to do next year when they all have the draft capital? I'm hoping they miss on every pick, but that's because I'm a selfish Lions fan. I hope they draft punters, number 1 overall and number 5 overall, and then let them battle it out who actually gets a roster spot. And the one who doesn't become the starting punter becomes the starting quarterback. That's my hope. We'll see if the Bears follow my advice. One Funky. Don, I hope so. I just don't like Goff against the wind. Now we are missing Frank and Aleem. Chicago players should be pissed from last game. Should be a good game, and I hope I'm wrong. Yeah, I'm sure Chicago is pretty fired up to try to get a little bit of revenge on after what happened the last time. Not Detroit. Goff against himself. Let's hope we get good Goff today. Yeah, I would say this, man. I get the take on Goff is outside. He's just not that good. But, at least his time into Detroit, has he really been bad? I mean, the game in Carolina that we lost, he was actually pretty good. He had some good numbers. In New Jersey against the Jets, he played pretty well. Maybe not his best game ever, but it wasn't horrible by any stretch. Same against the Giants. The Bears last year. After that, I guess, to be fair, I can't remember a ton of other ones, but in colder weather and outdoor environments, Green Bay to end the last season. He started off a little shaky, I thought, that game, but definitely the second half played pretty well. So, he might not throw for 400 or 300 yards a day, but it doesn't mean he can't be very impactful today. So, but to your point, Dr. Detroit, we better hope we get good Goff. Because, yes, he does seem to be a little Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde at times. All right, Southwest, what do you got? Bugs was a major contributor last year. I know they are holding a grudge because he didn't show up at training camp, but this is ridiculous. Only 83 snaps, plenty of good tread left on the tires. Yeah, and hey, the past don't matter at this point. You got 5 games for your Bugs plus the playoffs. Go out there, ball out, do everything you can to force this team's hand from a player's perspective to have to keep you next year. And or if not, then, hey, you're putting out great tape for other teams to consider in the offseason. All right, Andy, what do you got? No turnovers and we win. I would agree. That would be a huge impact, not giving them the Bears extra possessions. Mama Marker, let's go. Let's go Lions. Absolutely. A man bear, play Bugs and dump after the season. That could be the plan. But again, Bugs has a reason to play well with this opportunity and the rest of the season, because whether he's here or not should be irrelevant. It should be about what can he put on film for his representation, his agent, to go out and say, hey, you want to sign this guy. So he'll be playing with a purpose. 9 drinks, 36-10 Detroit. I'll take that in a heartbeat. Thomas, Detroit is the better team. Win the turnover battle, and they win the game. Wash hands. I'll take it. All right, Don Burr, my confidence is high. We win a statement game. Injuries plus people think game 1 was a fluke. It might have been. I mean, they caught us off guard with some stuff defensively. Goff, was maybe not in his best frame of mind. So I think that's probably calmed down a little bit. So hopefully, to your point, we have a much better outing there today. Steve, love the Lions and old school glass bottle dew. Bruce Irvin may remember that juice. I do. Maybe I should have sent him a couple Mountain Dews, help him revigorate himself. Maybe we should send a few to Aiden Hutchinson too, to help get that motor going a little bit. Don, take away historically bad 3 turnovers the first game, not even close. Yeah, I would agree with that. That gets lost in translation sometimes. All right, Southwest. AccuWeather says mostly cloudy, 35 winds, 13 miles per hour. That's not that bad at all. Any NFL quarterback, I would think, would be okay with that. But we'll see what happens. I'm expecting a good game from the Lions. Derek, who do you think will get the game ball from Dan? Oh, boy. Who am I going to put it on? I'm going to put it on the offensive line today. I think they're going to come out. They're going to control the clock. They're going to protect Goff. I mean, because let's be honest. They're aware last game they didn't do Goff any favors, and obviously against Green Bay as well. So, maybe we need to reframe this thinking and say, hey, the Bears want to prove that last game was, they're upset that they blew it or whatever. Maybe the Lions are going to come out and say, we're upset that we let you in the game, and starting with the offensive line. So I'm going to, that's what I'm going to do, Derek. I'm going to go with the whole offensive line. He's going to need more game balls. All right, Sha, what do you got? Good morning, all. Good morning to you, too. Hopefully you're having to do one. One, Funky. Don, outside of the 3 turnovers, I'm concerned that the Lions didn't move the ball last game until the Bears went to prevent at the end of both halves. And the Lions did a good job out of that shotgun, 3 wide receiver, 1 tight end, 1 running back formation. But to your point, they played hurry up, didn't allow the Bears to do as many personnel substitutions, and kept them on their toes a little bit. That's why, as a coach, I prefer being assertive and aggressive. Keep people guessing on both sides of the ball. Keep them backpedaling. Don't let them come up and swinging. That's just how I prefer coaching. Hopefully, Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn maybe take a page out of the book of Dan for a moment there. Don, what do you got? Just give me my credit when we beat the Bears. Beat these guys by 10 or 2 TDs. I see a lot of scared fans this morning. I think you do, Don. I think a lot of people are just kind of on their toes. They're worried. I mean, I get for a while we've played nothing but close games, but that is fairly normal in the NFL that most games, regardless if it's one team or whoever, aren't blowouts. So I get your point. And yeah, if we can come out, not turn the ball over, play a little bit of defense, the offense is, its normal self, then yeah, maybe we've got some potential here. JDC, at Derek, I'd like to see a quote game ball kind of day out of the special teams. That might happen. It'd be a good day for him. Dr. Detroit Don B, you can get to that creed because we need this win. Yeah, you can get it. We'll try to get you that credit too. Answer 14, while gap integrity is key, you have to get home. Can't leave coverage out on the islands. Fields can throw with time. Yeah, any quarterback, you give them enough time, they should hit open targets. And I get Fields sometimes struggles with accuracy, but I think he struggles more with accuracy when he's under consistent pressure. All right, the fishing. What do you got? Do you think we'll see Stephen Gilmore play this year actually in the cornerback role as much as our back ends stink? Or suck, whatever I guess it is. I guess that's not that bad a word for YouTube. I think, boy, he could get out there, sure. Yeah, I would like it to be the last game of the regular season. Again, when you're trying to rest people, I'm just going to assume that what the coaches see in practice tells them that, hey, the guys that are out there are the best options we have. I mean, I get as fans, we all want the next guy to be the best option, and sometimes they are, but also sometimes the coaches are right and say, hey, these are actually the best people we have. So, maybe at some point he does get a shot, and hopefully when he does get out there, Gilmore, rocks the moment and does a good job. All right, Don, what do you got? Dr. D, next week we're going to need that win. LOL, we've been needing wins since week 1. Needed the KC win to show we can play with the best teams. I've heard it all year. Yeah, and that's just, hey, nobody talks about teams that lose. There's no pressure on them because you know what? They're not relevant. So from the Lions standpoint, the more you win, the more pressure there is on you because, a couple losses here and there, and you could, I guess technically at this point, you can still fall out of the playoffs. So, hey, pressure reveals character. Pressure reveals what a team really is and your actual abilities as a coach or player. So keep the pressure on them. Keep them growing. Keep the trend being our friend. All right, Jet Setter, what do you got? I finally made it to a live stream. Do the do and go Lions. Hey, man, glad you made it, man. And thanks for hopping on in. All right, Iceberg. Got 5 INTs in the first half. Now, my question to you, Iceberg, is that going to be in the first drive, the first quarter, or are you just saying he's going to spread them out over the first 2 quarters. So let me know. In case you guys didn't know, Iceberg's been in the channel a long time, and he just might be a Bears fan. Southwest Line. Why don't they allow Sutton to travel with the other team's best receiver? He's clearly a better DB than Jerry Jacobs, just because they play zone coverage, and it would be a little bit tougher to have somebody travel in zone coverage across the field because, well, I mean, could you do it? Sure. I just don't think the Lions want their guys doing that. They want them to have specific roles and comfortability in specific areas. All right, one funky Iceberg. If you said 2, it would be more believable. 5, man, that ain't happening. Hey, I'm just gonna say this. I'm hoping for 0 turnovers out of Goff today. Southwest, it's obvious passing downs. In obvious passing downs, excuse me, the Lions should be rushing at least 5, and they may. I'm like I said, I'm a fan of aggressiveness. I'm a fan of crowding the line, putting sometimes 7 or 8 guys at the line of scrimmage. 8's going to be tough on a lot of plays, though. And let the offensive line and quarterback have to guess basically who's coming and who's dropping. And more importantly, I know people are coming, but where are the people dropping who are not coming? Because you're going to have to get rid of the ball quick. And if you guess wrong or you scheme wrong, you're going to be throwing it right at a defender who just dropped. So that's my thoughts. All right, Southwest. And up that blitz percentage to at least 45-50%. Yeah, I would agree with that. Non-Goff gonna slice Bears overrated defense up today, and I'm not even a golfer. Well, it's a little cold for me to be out there golfing, but I get what you're saying though. Yeah, Goff has an opportunity here today. Shad, what do you got? In Bugs, I trust. Hard to believe. Hard not to be on his side, especially when it comes to AG. Yeah, we may never know what their heated debate was about, what the issue's been, but if we ever find out, I guess we'll know. But whatever it is, I'm with you that it's time for Bugs to be back out there. I mean, it's time to be grown people, grown men, and just say, hey, let's get what's best for the team in play versus any kind of individual beef. All right, Southwest, what do you got? As to who to cut, that's easy. Will Harris. Yeah. I guess I dropped the ball on that one. Man, for some reason, though, he's uncuttable. He must have some ironclad statement in his contract that, hey, you guys got to keep me. Ed, what do you got? If we lose today, I have a feeling AG set hit a boiling point. Yeah, if AG and the defense don't look good today, I mean, the seat's hot. I think we all get it. He's sitting on it. He's aware of it. He knows the tone of the room. But I just don't think they're going to do anything with him, irregardless. I mean, if they lose out the rest of the year, I just don't think they're going to do anything with him until the offseason. Maybe I'm wrong, but I would be surprised. All right, Dr. Detroit, I just hope Goff protects the ball. Me too, man. Take care of the ball. Take away opportunities from the Chicago Bears. All right, Donald, last outside game of the regular season, a win here would be awesome. Yes, it would be Goffsome even. Because, yeah, like you said, from here on out, including the playoff, well, as long as you take care of business and win the division, including the playoffs, you're going to be home. All right, Thomas, thank God we have Cam Sutton. Could you imagine if we still had Jeff Okudah starting? I would say this with Jeff Okudah, you'd probably be playing more man-to-man defense because, for all of Okudah's faults and everything, he was a coverage corner. He just, obviously had a lot of issues with it. He'd be better than Jerry Jacobs. Maybe if you still had him instead of Jerry, him starting, I should say, Okudah, that you would play more man-to-man. It's just I don't think Jerry Jacobs is good enough at it to be able to do it consistently, and definitely not Tracy Walker. So if you could probably mask one of them out of it or to protect him, but having to mask 2 people, that would be a lot. All right, Dr. Detroit, we keep talking like Houston's sure thing. I'm not sure. As far as returning, I think he will be back. I don't unless something really sets him back. I have no doubt he'll be back this year. Now, as far as ability to get to the quarterback, I mean, I would say based on last year and then the only game he really played in earnest this year, Kansas City, he got to Mahomes. He got to Mahomes a couple times. He didn't get him on the ground, but he generated pressure and forced him out of the pocket. Holmes, unfortunately, is just very good at having the ability to escape rushers. I mean, he's been doing it for however many years now. So anyways, I'm very hopeful in the next 2 weeks he's back. All right, Joe, what do you got? JMO says he is scoring 3 tutties. How many targets and TDs do you think he'll get today? Let's go with, you know what? I'll get a little crazy with it. I'm not going to go 3 for Jameson. I'm going to go with 2, though, and on 5 targets. How about that? 2 scores, 5 targets, 5 total catches. Detroit, Dr. D's going with 2. I agree. Shy, please don't give me nightmares thinking about Jeff. All right. Oh, 2 targets. All right, Dr. Detroit. All right. Don Kirby Joseph, have a day today. That would help a lot because, he needs one, I think, just from an emotional component. All right. Southwest, and they were messing with Houston in training camp, putting him on 3rd and 4th units. Yeah, that's what I didn't get, man. I get you're trying to get him reps as a coverage backer, but let him do what he does. I really thought they missed the boat there. You know, that had some sort of pride thing with Charles Harris. And man, is Charles Harris even on the roster anymore? I think if you go back with the coaching staff, they would probably say, hey, not a great idea, but nothing you can do about it now. All right, Dr. Detroit, the DL draft pick have been misses, period. Yeah, I can only think of, and again, Ali McNeil hasn't been a bust, especially for where he was drafted. He's probably superseded his draft value. Hutchinson this year, you guys heard my points. You can have your own. Nothing wrong with that. I think he's been a win, but he's been a win that you've burnt out, and now you got to try to get some energy back in him. Outside of that, I mean, it hasn't been great. Frank, smartest thing I know on X, the smartest fan I know on X, says players are more the problem than coaches. I hope Houston and CJ Gardner-Johnson help a lot. I mean, there's room to be debated on that for sure. If you can't get pressure out of your defense, it's hard for any scheme to really work because you do have to get people to be uncomfortable on offense. If you can't get to the opposing quarterback for 29 seconds, I'm going to guess anybody in the NFL, even the great Tim Boyle, can complete passes. And therein lies, I think, of the big bulk of the problem. How do you mask that? I know Southwest and a bunch of us say, hey, we got to blitz more. We got to get pressure on the quarterback. But when you blitz, you've got to still get there. You've got to put pressure on them. And the back half of your defense has to be able to cover for 3 or under seconds, so the blitz, has time to get home while not giving any quick out options. So there's a lot of factors in play for sure. All right, Southwest line on passing downs. I'd much prefer to see Melifonwu as one of the safeties over Tracy Walker. I agree. He's got better coverage skills than Tracy Walker. If you want Walker out there, let him blitz. Yeah, to your point, that's another area I would think the coaching staff probably should revisit. Don't have the old school mentality, hey, you're the starter, so you're out there all the time, because that just doesn't work. Tracy Walker, I think, is very good on first down, second down, where you have a higher probability of runs, or I can even say short passes. The problem with him becomes anything that extends more to the, say, 7 to 10 or further down the field, as far as yards, 7, 10 yards or further. It's just, hey, the guy's a lion. He loves being here. He bleeds blue, all that stuff. But at some point as a coach, you can't worry about that stuff. You got to worry about what is the best product for your team. And to your point, Melifonwu is better. I'm not going to say he's a ton better, but he is better at coverage responsibilities than Tracy Walker. All right, Dr. Detroit, because they are getting all right, Geritol treatments, man. All right, fair enough. All right. Dr. Troy, arthritis is a yep when you're 60. Yes, I haven't experienced it yet, and hopefully I don't ever. So, yeah, I got you, man. All right, Dr. Detroit, or excuse me, Southwest Lion, staying in your lanes, not over pursuing, blitzing more. This has nothing to do with talent. It has everything to do with scheme approach. I'd say there's a debate for both, but I've said it before on here. You got better talent, your schemes look better. But yes, Aaron Glenn has not done himself any favors. Dr. Troy, they know how to pick. They don't know how to develop. That could be true too. All right, Jeffrey, what about Laporta? What's the question about Laporta? I guess just let me know. All right, sorry if I missed something, man, and maybe I'm just not awake enough yet for it. Sorry, Jeffrey. Southwest, please don't let Chicago hold the ball like they did last time for 40 minutes. That's why the D needs to be more aggressive. Yeah, they're going to have to. I mean, you got to get them off the field, end of the line. What your defense does, its number one job, hold them to 3 and out. Trey, Goff didn't look good in Carolina. Those were stat Padford. All right, I'll go with that, man. That game was like the Ravens game. Yeah, I stat Padford. Yeah, I'll go with that. You know what? I'm gonna give you a flash there because you might be right, man. All right, Frank. I'm going to laugh if Marvin Harris Jr. stays in college, so he can't be drafted by the Bears. It has been reported he can make $20 million next year in college. Yeah, the coaching symposium I went to yesterday. That was one of the big topics is the NIL, and we were even talking about the impact it's now having on different states in regards to the high school level. So, college sports are forever changed by it. And I'm not saying they're right or wrong. I just don't care. You either think it's great or you think it's not, or you're indifferent. Those are your 3 options. I'm indifferent on it. I'm not a fan of it coming to the high school level, but it is starting to happen. But in regards to just talking about professional football here, yeah, I mean, I get some of the guys can say, hey, I'm in no hurry to get to the NFL because I'm going to make more where I'm at in college, or it's a push. It's no real difference. All right, Pipe, what do you got? I think Hutch might have bought himself some real estate in Fields' head at the end of the last game. Love to see him punch another one out today. Yeah, I'd love to see Hutch get going, but they're going to have to do some things, I think, to try to free him up because he is a little, and I get my opinion, he is a little tired. All right, Detroit Goff really hasn't looked great all season, but they are winning, and I'm not interested in player stats as much as I want to win. I am nervous about giving up the ball, so protect the ball, Goff. Yeah, and to your point, I thought last year, he played pretty damn well. This year, it hasn't been last year. It's been a little bit below that, but he hasn't played horrible by any stretch. He did have the 2 games, yes, where he wasn't great by any large margin. But I will say this, most players go through that where they have a little bit of a downturn here or there, especially if you have some other factors that maybe help promote that. And I will say this, I'm not going to say they're going to keep Goff. I'm not going to say they're going to move on from Goff, but Goff has by far and large in his time in Detroit been more than I think most people would have expected, I should say. Trey, I still think the Lions get it done today. Me too. It will be close. I just don't think the Bears have enough to pull out a close win. I hope you're right, man. And I think all Lions fans are hoping with that. All right. What do you got? The Southwest Line, Ben Johnson collaborated with Goff to design the plays for the offense. How much input the defense players have with AG designing the defense. Only AG and the players would know. There's just no way for me to get that information unless one of them agrees to talk or something like that. And, I don't have that for you, unfortunately. Shaw would have got Goff in the weather take has to be very lazy narrative. He's been practicing in Detroit. He will be fine. Yeah, and a lot of times they do practice outdoors. So, at this point, and I get when he probably first got here, his body's acclimated to West Coast life and weather, but he's been here, 2.5, almost 3 years now. His body's probably fairly adjusted to Michigan weather. All right, Matthew, what do you got? If the Bears draft a quarterback with the first pick, I hope they go for Caleb Williams. He is the greatest likelihood of being a bust. Man, as a USC fan, you're coming at me here. But with that being said, I also got to be fair as a scout and say, hey, there are a couple of topics I would want a deeper dive on before investing, especially the number 1 pick in him. I think he's got some potential. I also think he needs to show himself better in adverse moments, but one of the toughest things to evaluate when it comes to especially a quarterback, and I think I talked this with you guys about it last week, is you need to be able to see, just because the defenses are vastly different from the NFL to college for the most part. I'm going to say 97% of them are different, because one of the things defensive coordinators do a great job of at the NFL level is we all talk about quarterbacks making pre-snap adjustments. Well, your green dot or whoever it is on defense that's responsible for your in or pre-adjustment defensive alterations or changes to schemes before the snap, they've got to make those same reads and adjust to the quarterback. If you've got somebody who can do that for your NFL team, they're worth every penny you give them because they give you such a minute but huge change to your defensive schemes. And that's where I think Aaron Glenn and the defense here in Detroit really struggles. Quarterback A figures out when they're putting so and so in motion, more than likely what your scheme is on that particular play. What does Mike D do to alter that and throw it off? That's where the real difference is at the NFL level. And the teams that do it well do it incredibly well. I know you guys, especially Southwest, point out the Minnesota defensive coordinator. He does a real good job. If you watch film on them, you watch how their players shift and move as the offense is shifting and moving. That's tough to teach at the college level. That's why I think it's really hard to evaluate a lot of quarterbacks, because when that shift out of the offense starts happening, the defense stays stagnant, sort of like the Detroit Lions defense. There's not a lot of adjustments to it. So quarterback A, who now has got a pretty good idea what you're in and where the holes are going to be, knows where to throw it. They don't really have to stop and think. That's where a lot of quarterbacks get messed up, though, at the NFL level, is when your first read and second read are taken away, do you stay calm? Can you move on and progress to the third or fourth read? Or do you panic and make a dumb decision? And that's why I think more than any other position in the draft, quarterbacks bust. A lot of guys, especially when they start getting hit once, twice, 4 times on a drive or in the first half, because they thought they had something open. They thought the second one would be an option as far as routes and progressions, but now they're not there. They panic. They get rid of the ball faster than they should have, or they throw it at the wrong spot. And okay, I'm going on too long, but you guys get the point. And Caleb Williams, well, I think he looks great in college for the most part. I do have some concerns about him as far as his ability to move down the progression trees when under duress. All right, Ed, what do you got? Would you consider doing a post-game show or a watch party? I do post-game shows. Yeah, I'll get on after the game today, so don't worry about that. As far as in-game, I mean, I guess if enough of you guys want to do it, I'll do it. I don't have a problem with it. And, I've done a few this year. I know we did Kansas City. I want to say there was another game too. And what I do to them when I've done them is what I see on the screen. I'm just yelling out basically what I see. All right, they're putting tight end in motion here, or probability of this being this or that. Hey, defense, hey, they're bringing up the second safety. They got 8-man front. All right, look for this. That I just try to do coach speak basically, and that kind of stuff. The problem is, man, that I've run into is, for the most part, it seems like when I've done it, and I know Dr. Detroit talked to me about it. He was like, "Man, you're 30 seconds behind us, so it's tough. You guys are trying to watch, and half of you guys are 30 seconds ahead. Some of you are with me." So, I think that's the tough part. I got to find a better provider that doesn't have that delay, at least at such an egregious level. The Sarge, I know for the Kansas City game, he was going to try to give some commentary too, but I felt bad every time I called it a play because it sounded like with everybody with the Kansas City game, we're for the most part on schedule. Everybody was seeing the same stuff as me when it was happening. He was probably like 40 seconds behind. So I kept, every time I call something out, I'm giving him a spoiler. So I don't know. You got to figure it out better though. But I'd be all for it. But I will have a post-game show. All right, Southwest Hutchinson is not the type of player to admit that he needs rest. I would agree with that. But it's clear by how they're using him, he doesn't have the burst. It's no wonder. Yeah, he's been grind down to a nub, like I've talked about for a few weeks now. You watch his first step, you watch some of his bend, and that's the big tell to me, the loss of flexibility. When a player starts getting tired, when those joints get overused, and if I could ever get Jen on the show, she would give you guys a real deep dive about flexibility training and all that stuff. But when I watch them, I don't, I can't walk you through how to change it, not like she can. But when I take players through it, and when I'm watching and scouting, you can tell who's got injuries pretty quick by what happens with ankles and knees. Watch Hutchinson today. When he tries to bend the upper body from the waist up, watch how stiff it is. That tells me he's fighting a lower body injury, and B, it's just there's a little energy in that body. It's not fluid anymore. It's stiff. The muscles have contracted. They've been overused. And most of us go, man, he's a, whatever he is, 22-year-old kid, 23-year-old kid. It's irrelevant. The amount of abuse he's put on that body this year, and now the amount of wear, he's as human as the rest of us, man. There's only so much gas in that tank, and that gas is run dry. They've got to get him off the field more and more before the playoffs, or this isn't something that's going to get better. It's going to actually get worse. So if I'm Dan Campbell, I get you got to get wins, and that's the tough part as coach. I get you got to get wins. I get you need the best options out there, but you also have to try to say, hey, what do we have to do to actually get more out of this kid while giving him less, if that makes sense. All right, Dr. Detroit, Bears staying with Justin and get him some help and cornerback help. Yeah, I would agree. If it was me, I'd be keeping him because I think he's a matchup problem. I'd be investing a lot of money into some real sound development and as far as progressing his skills. But he should keep progressing as he gets more experience. He'll read defenses better. He'll read them quicker. He'll go through progressions better. You put a bunch of parts around him, he's going to play better because he will have to do less and less. So we'll see. Anyways, but I hope, I'm just being selfish as a Lions fan. I hope the Bears, cut Fields and destroy the draft. All right, Shock, what do you got, Dan? When you take over Skip Bayless for number due fans, when do you take over? Hey, if they want to give me his paycheck and his job, I'll do it. I don't know if I can yell and scream like he does or whatever. Who's the other guy in ESPN? I always put him in the thumbnails. Oh gosh, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about too. But they're both yellers and screamers, and I'll yell and scream as a coach, but I just don't have it in me to do it every day just to try to make a point. All right, Don Kong, Super Bowl bust, bada bing. Now we're talking. All right, Trey Hutch has to learn how to start beating the double and triple teams like the elite players do from time to time. Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, that'll be the next step for him. Let's freaking go. I agree, Dr. Detroit. All right, Southwest Lion, every team in the league who plays the Bears, including the Lions, need to look at how the Vikings played Fields. Yeah, I agree. And just like we talked about what the Lions did to Goff, what the Bears did to Goff, every team is going to try to copy that scheme. So I get that, man. All right, one funky Goff is fine in cold and rain/snow, but wind is another story like Baltimore. I would say that's probably more of a fair point. When he was a Ram and went to Chicago late in the year, it was windy. He lacks the arm strength, concerns me. Yeah, he does not have elite level. I mean, he's not a Stafford type thrower. He doesn't have that. So I do get your point. It's also your point with the Baltimore game. Why? What's the name? The Baltimore, man, I'm just dropping balls here with people. Lamar Jackson, he wasn't as impacted with it because he does have a howitzer. Goff, though, you could see where it does take a little bit off it. All right, Dr. Detroit, what do you got? Hutch can do it all alone, and we all knew that when we drafted him. Yeah, he can't do it all alone, and we knew that. Yeah, I knew what you got. Yeah, I'm with you, man. All right, Boo, no rain, temp okay, light wind. Goff has a good game. Let's hope so. And Dr. Detroit, yeah, let the youngster cook a bit. I would agree. All right, Motown, what do you got? Goff MVP, caliber day, and coming J-Mo taking that next step, may have 3 touchdowns this week. I'm going to go with 2, but I'll take yours for 3. Let's hold you to that prediction. Dr. Detroit, Rolf. All right, Terrence, it's going to be a good game. Detroit blowout. I'm liking it. Let's make sure the Lions win in a blowout. Bergs, LOL, Iceberg. It's okay, even though he's a Bears fan. Yeah, I like the dude, man. I mean, he might come in and poke fun, but you know what? That's what makes it fun, man. He's never rude or disrespectful. He's just coming in and saying his piece, man. All right, Dr. Detroit, just don't turn over the ball. Yeah, I agree. JDC, Magic 8 Ball says Lions 28, Bears 17. Sold. I'll take it. Sean, let's hope the refs don't forget their contracts today. Let's hope their contacts today. Woody Ward, what do you got? What time is the game? 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Chris D, for the first game with the Bears, we shouldn't forget the pressure they had on Goff, which led to the forced throws. The weather will be less the issue than the protection. I would agree, and that's why somebody asked earlier, who would I give the game balls to? To me, it'd be the offensive line. They will be the true heroes of this game. Paul, 1 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, I agree. Dr. Detroit, Harris, Pascal, both Aquarius, Ansareke, Martin, Bugs need to bounce after this season. Get real talent. We wasted pick with these guys. Yeah, Harris, I think he won't be back. I'm trying to remember. I know Romeo Aquarius' contract expires after this year. I don't remember his brother. Pascal's going to be here. He's still on the rookie deal. Onzarike, and who knows? Martin, I'm gonna give him a little bit more time, man. He's just a rookie and one with some promise. Bugs, unless he really does something different the rest of this season, his time's probably limited. Phil, greetings and salutations to you too, buddy. Hope you're having a good one. Fletch lives. Offense needs to step it up today. Yes, I would agree. Control the clock, score touchdowns, not field goals. Paul, Lions just need to run the ball and get short passes out to St. Brown, Laporta, and maybe a long shot to JMO. Yeah, I'm hoping they go 9-1-1 right on the first snap, throw it long to Jameson Williams. NPNY, so something with New York in 1970. I would like to see them go deep like Green Bay just on Thanksgiving. Yeah, on the first play. Yeah, I'm with you. Dr. Detroit, you mean play action? I'm going to take some play action. I know that. Motown, you left out Jacobs and Jackson as well, Dr. Detroit. Fair enough. Jacobs for sure. Diane, what do you got? Come on, Goff, wake up, shake my head, and defense, keep fighting. Division games are war. They are. Thomas, hey, good to see you, man. They gave basically killed Hutch. Yes. Thanksgiving. Yeah. Thomas, what do you got? They basically killed Hutch. Yes, I would agree by wearing him down. Yes. Nine drinks. Okay. Need to see Super Bowl or bust. I do think we got that. Yeah. Shah, can someone explain Hutch being burnt out? What actually is it? So he plays on average, I want to say close to 95, 97% of the defensive snaps. Now times that by, where we're at in the 12 games in, that's a ton of wear on anybody's body, let alone a defensive lineman who, by the nature of their position, they're in constant contact. They're either getting chipped, blocked, double team blocked. It's just, you start seeing people lose their ability to bend, flex, easily go through things. Think of everybody in this chat as we get older. It becomes harder and harder to do some of those things just because we become less flexible or we don't practice stretching and stuff like that. Hutchinson, to me, I get he stretches every day. I get he's younger. His body is looking older and older because of the amount of wear they're putting on him. And I'm just going to say this. You want to burn a player out before their time, keep doing what you're doing. Keep putting all that extra pounding on him. He might say, hey, I'm okay, coach. Keep me going. That's where a coach has to step in and say, nah, I appreciate what you're trying to do, but we've also got to protect you and prolong your career. All right, Thomas, I'd say go after QB no matter how you do it. I agree. No more bull pass rush. Yeah, just get there, baby. Dr. Detroit, Hutch has limited moves. He does. He spins and rips. He needs to get better with those two, but he also needs more in the toolbox. Plus, he is an LT. Yeah, I would agree. He needs further development. And we've talked about it before. Last year, he got some things done because people didn't have a ton of film on him. Now they do, and now they know how to plan for him a little bit more. He's going to have to learn some counter punches. All right, guys, it's been over an hour. The Mountain Dew is calling for me. I will have a post-game show. I'll get on as soon as today's game's over. If you guys have any questions or whatever, when the live feed ends, if you have anything you want me to do, hop back on and leave a comment. That way I see it because I don't always see all the live feed stuff. I try to get through as many as I can. If there is some sort of breaking news before the game, I'll get on as quick as I'm able. Otherwise, I hope you all have a great day. Don't forget to subscribe. We need 50 more to hit 48, 250 more to get to 5,000. Hit that thumbs up button. Hope you all have a great one, and we'll see you on the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, all.